Friends, welcome back in this series of lectures on chromatography. So, from last few lectures, we have started with column chromatography. In this part, we are going to see the methodology, in particular, methodology related to column preparation. So, this is the general figure which shows the experimental setup and the process which is observed in column chromatography. Column chromatography is a solid liquid technique in which the stationary phase is a solid and mobile phase is liquid. This we have seen in earlier lecture. The solvent system used is used for three purposes. The solvent is used to dissolve the analyte, it is used for developing, and it is used for removal, that is in the form of elution. So again this slide shows the entire procedure schematically. So in column chromatography, the stationary phase is packed into a glass column. The mixture of analyte is then applied and the mobile phase, commonly referred to as eluent, is passed through the column. The stationary phase is coated with discrete small particles, it is matrix, and packed into the column. As the eluent flows through the column, the analyte separates on the basis of their distribution or adsorption coefficients. So, in column chromatography, the selection of column, selection of adsorbent, selection of solvent, column preparation are the important stages. The main function of all the columns is to support the stationary phase, which is solid material. The material of the column is mostly good quality neutral glass, since it should not be affected by the solvent system used for the separation process. Continuing with the column characteristics, an ordinary burette can also be used as column for the separation process. The column dimensions, the length to diameter ratio is usually taken as 10:1, 20:1 or 100:1 as per the requirement of the experiment and nature of the mixture to be separated, nature of the adsorbent, nature of the solvent system, etc. So choice is there. Various accessories are attached to the top and bottom of the column for maintenance of the elution process. So it is, in brief, it is a glassware like burette and can be chosen by considering the requirement of the experiment and various components, that is the mixture, adsorbent, solvent, etc. Then the adsorbent material should have uniform size and shape. It is usually 60 to 200 micrometer. It must have high mechanical stability. It must be chemically inert. It must be colorless and cheap. The commonly used adsorbents are silica, alumina, magnesium oxide, calcium carbonate, sucrose, starch, etc. The stationary phase again is decided by considering the nature of the mixture, the column length, quantity of the mixture to be analyzed, and the solvent system. In experimental setup, the adsorbent, the usual adsorbents employed in the column chromatography are, as I mentioned, silica, aluminium, calcium carbonate, calcium phosphate, magnesia, starch, etc. Alumina is generally suitable for chromatography of less polar compounds. Silica gel gives good results with compounds containing polar functional groups. Then adsorbent in column chromatography should meet following criteria. Particles should be spherical in shape and uniform in size. They must have high mechanical stability. They should not react chemically. It should be useful for separating a wide variety of compounds. It should be freely available, inexpensive. The particle size we have seen, that is, it must be in the range of 50 to 200 micrometer. The choice of the solvent depends upon the solubility characteristics of the mixture. The solvents should also have sufficiently low boiling points to permit ready recovery of the eluted material. However, polarity, as seen, the most important factor in adsorption chromatography. different mobile phases are used in column chromatography: petroleum ether, carbon tetrachloride, cyclohexane, ether, acetone, benzene, toluene, esters, water, etc. It can be used in either pure form or in the form of mixture. Then the main function of the column we have seen. These characteristics also we have seen earlier. Now, in the preparation of column, the column consists of glass tube with bottom portion of the column packed with glass wool or glass wool or may you can use asbestos sheet also, asbestos pad also, above which adsorbent is packed. After packing, a paper disc is kept on the top so that the adsorbent layer is not disturbed during the introduction of sample or mobile phase. Means in this column at the bottom a paper pad or asbestos pad is placed, above which adsorbent material is there, and it is covered by again a layer, a paper piece which will not affect the solvent used in the column chromatography. There are two methods. One is called as dry packing, other is called as wet packing. Dry packing is also known as dry filling. Wet packing is also known as wet filling. So as the name suggests, dry packing is carried out in by using dry adsorbent. So this figure shows the process of using the adsorbent in dry condition. It is added to the column directly. In dry packing method, dry silica or alumina is added directly to the column and the solvent is allowed to trickle through in portions, then with pressure. So now the column is ready for column chromatography, and as I mentioned, dry packing is carried out by using dry adsorbent material. In the wet packing method, the column is filled with solvent first. Then dry silica or alumina is lightly shaken in, then packed with pressure. This is one of the methods. Then there is another method which is called a slurry method. In the slurry method, solvent is added to the silica or alumina in an Erlenmeyer flask and then poured onto the column as a sludgy material, then packed with pressure. The columns in this way can be prepared by dry packing method or dry filling method, and second is wet filling or wet packing method. You can use suitable method for packing as per your requirement, time available, and various parameters like nature of mixture, solvent system use, nature of adsorbent, etc. So the column ready by either of these two methods, that is by dry packing and wet packing, is further conveniently used for the column. So wet packing method is an ideal and common technique. The material is slurried with solvent and generally added to the column in portions. The SP stationary phase settles uniformly and no crack in the column of adsorbent is observed. Solid settles down while the solvent remains upward. This solvent is removed then and cotton plug is placed at the top. Okay. So by using this methodology, either by dry packing or by wet packing, your column is ready for chromatographic technique. So during our next video, we will continue with the rest of the methodology after column preparation. Okay. So meantime, you go through this step, that is dry packing, wet packing of column in column chromatography. Okay. Till then, let us stop here. Good day.